So to kick off my coaching series, I am coaching the absolutely fabulous Di, who is a breeder, a dachshund breeder. And lo and behold, I used to have dachshunds when I was younger. It was meant to be. And we really talk about what she's meant to be doing in her life and the direction that she really wants to go in and what's holding her back. And if this is a process of yours that you feel like you want to be tapping into something but you're not sure how, then this is the conversation for you. And we really uncover what her belief system is around why she can't do something and actually where her talents lie. We really focus on all that she can do rather than all that she feels she can't, because that's just an old story. So stay tuned. I hope you enjoy it. We both got so much from it, and I absolutely loved chatting with her.
So just tell me, what is it you want to talk about today?
I think the main two issues that I have are in my life in general are not knowing or not being sure of my life purpose, just not knowing what I'm supposed to be doing, and am I already doing what I'm supposed to be doing, or am I meant to be doing it on a bigger scale? And the other thing is imposter syndrome, that I suffer from crippling anxiety and imposter syndrome, and I literally cannot put myself out there for just fear really. And so I think that holds me back too. And so they're the kind of two main issues that I've got. And I have worked with coaches in the past, a coach in the past, and we did a lot around my core values and, finding out what they were. And I worked quite deeply on that. And, but it's difficult, because I've come to realise that just recently I've come to thinking about it quite recently, and I'm thinking that I don't think the thing that's meant to be your purpose or your passion or your thing, I don't think it's something that you can just all of a sudden decide on. I think it's something that's been there and it's been underlying for a long time. It's just that it may be manifesting in different ways, and you haven't unearthed the potential of it yet. Does that make sense? Like, were you a hairdresser before? Are you a hairdresser now?
Yes.
You've done that, which you enjoy. But obviously during doing that, you must have got to a stage where you thought to yourself, actually, I really like working with people and I'm quite helpful. And so you were probably always coaching people.
So what's the question there, Di? Because it feels like there's a question in that.
So my question is, my question is more like, so I've tried a million different things, and I'm not a million, okay, more like 100 different things, where, I'm a trained birth doula. I've got a certificate in end-of-life care. I've done a year of biomedicine. I've signed up numerous times for college and started them and then not continued. I'm always thinking that, I've thought about writing a book. I've thought a million things.
Is it a question of how do I know?
How am I supposed to get to the place where I know what it is I'm supposed to be doing? Or, because obviously, as you know...
I'm actually going to pause you there. How am I supposed to be getting to the place of what I'm supposed to be doing? Now, let's just let that sit there for a second. So just repeat it back to me.
How am I supposed to get to the place where I know what I should be doing?
What's happened? Because it feels like something's really shifted in your energy.
I just feel, I suppose there's feelings of failure, there's feelings of not being good enough. I feel, this is the thing though, I breed dogs, that. We've had this kind of very minimal conversation. I breed miniature dachshunds. I've been doing so for about 10 years. It's not a job that you do every day. It is a job you do every day, because I've got 6 dogs here that take up a lot of my time, as well as having 4 kids. But it's not something that is a constant thing. This year I'm only having 1 litter. Next year I'll probably have 4 litters. Just the way the girl seasons work, you can't breed. They only have a season once every 10 months. You can't breed from them every season, blah, blah, blah. So my job is sporadic. Yeah, it's like, it's not all the time, you know, it's not something
what is it you want?
I suppose I want to feel successful and accomplished and have a kind of, and as well, I suppose, in certain ways, have an income. But I want, you know, I think...
What does successful and accomplished look like for you? What does successful and accomplished look like for you?
I don't know. I guess anybody, yeah.
Here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. This is something that you ultimately want for yourself. This is something that you go round and round and round in circles, not being able to find, because you want to feel successful, you want to feel accomplished, you want to feel that you're doing the very thing that it is you are supposed to be doing from your absolute core purpose, passion, all of that. But yet, you're not giving yourself any space to even be present to what that might be, and to even ask yourself, hold on, what does success really look like for me? Because if I'm basing my whole life on this one thing that I want and I don't know how to get it, I don't even know how I want that to look.
Well, so for me, I suppose I would class looking at somebody like yourself as successful. So
what is it you see?
Okay. So you've got work. You've got work coming in, you know, in a steady flow. You've got people who probably want to work with you. Your voice is heard, and people really want to listen to what you've got to say because you're knowledgeable. It's not a financial thing. It's more sharing your work, sharing your knowledge, and people liking that and paying attention, and you know, kind of. And the thing is, I suppose it's difficult because in my job, I am very, very sought after. You know, my waiting list is years long. You know, I'm very, very sought after. But I suppose because it's not something that I'm doing on a daily basis, it doesn't feel fulfilling.
So the first thing of what success looks like for you is that it has to be on a daily basis.
It has to be.
But you see how mucky it can get very, very quickly, right?
Yes.
Because it's a limiting belief of, you're looking at someone like me saying she's successful because people want to work with her. The first thing is, how do you know that?
Okay, that's just an assumption, so fair enough.
It's a total assumption, right? So you're assuming I'm what success looks like because people like to listen to me and people want to work with me.
Yeah.
So I'm going to spin that back on you, that success for you is having your voice being heard and for you to be able to express yourself in an inspiring way. Yeah. So you can help people.
Yeah. So here, I'll tell you what I've decided I'm going to do, but I honestly almost don't understand myself because I almost get in my own way, right? So here's my thought, okay? So what comes up for me all the time, what comes to me all the time, people email me obviously all the time regarding puppies, and if I've got puppies, and you know, dog buying, and obviously their assumption of how this kind of whole thing works, right? And it's very, very clear to me that, as I didn't when I bought my first dog, that people don't understand this kind of, not don't understand, but there's a lot of facets to this dog buying process, okay? From the types of breeders that you get, to the types of dogs that you're going to get, to where they're going to be sold, to what you should expect when you buy a puppy or when you meet a breeder, or, you know, there's a massive amount of branches to it, right? But people don't understand that, okay? And I get that, because why would you? If you're buying a dog for the first time, then it's not something you would automatically know. So I had the idea that I was going to set up a blog website, still not entirely sure about that yet. And it's basically about the web name or the company name or the web name was called The Nurtured Pup. And it's basically all about how this all works. From, you know, my website, I built my own website, literally built my own website from hand, and it draws people in. So I know that I've got the capability to write and people understand it and they like what they're reading. And so they come to me for advice because, you know, where I've got it down on, you know, on the website, I'm obviously knowledgeable. So I was going to start up this website blog specifically about, you know, buying a pup, like breeding and buying a pup, you know, how this works. You know, people might think that a bitch has a litter 3 times a year. They might think, you know, there's lots of that people don't know, right?
And what is it you bring to them in this blog stroke website?
I bring to them knowledge and information so they could go, oh, right, okay. And this would bring them understanding so that they would therefore realise, right, okay, that's, you know, that's that route, right? If I want a puppy, I know I'm going to have to wait. I can't just decide I want one and get it the next month, you know, just lots of things. So it can open up, because I get all these questions on a regular basis, okay? Yep. So it's kind of answering people on a whole and kind of saying, you know, not being impersonal and saying, read my blog, but, you know, I can direct them somewhere, because I'm spending hours writing emails back to people, explaining things, and then they come back with thank you. Do you know what I mean? And I will spend hours writing the email and editing and to make sure it sounds all right. And then I get thanks. And I'm like, all right, okay. So I'm thinking, if I put this out there, it's a resource. It's, you know, it'll be brilliant for people because then they will understand the mechanics of how this all works.
And what will it bring? And what will it bring for you, Di? Be brilliant for people. They're going to get your experience. They're going to be educated. They're going to get understanding. I mean, beautiful. What a lovely, wonderful thing to give to people. What will it bring for you?
Satisfaction, recognition. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. But
Hold on. Satisfaction and recognition. Okay. Satisfaction and recognition.
That I've actually put something out there that's useful and informative to people, and recognition, I suppose I've always had this kind of internal battle of not being good enough, you know, imposter syndrome, So if it's there and it's on paper, or not paper, if it's there and it's online and it's out there for the world to see, and then there is recognition, I suppose.
I'm going to pause you again, if you don't mind, because I want you to know something that I've just picked up on. When you are talking about how to breed a dog or how to buy a dog, by the way, I know nothing about that. You and I had a brief conversation through Instagram Messenger, and you were actually really informative to me. And that was maybe 3 text messages. When you are talking about your industry and the work that you do, you are incredibly resourceful, knowledgeable, self-assured, confident, and articulate.
Yeah.
I really got, in the 5 minutes that you were talking about that it is actually quite a difficult thing, a difficult process, and of what it means to buy a dog. I never knew that because I don't have a dog. And actually what you have is all the knowledge that someone like myself is going to need to purchase a really good quality breed.
Yes. Yeah.
Now I'm pausing because let's just sit with that for a minute. I mean, you know this work.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's happening? Like, what's present for you now?
I'm getting in my own way. I'm not letting myself take that step forward. I've sat, so I bought into WordPress. I thought I started up as a blog. WordPress is quite complicated. I haven't figured that out yet. I need to watch some YouTube.
It is really complicated, yes.
Then I thought to myself, right, what I'll do is I'm just going to start writing some posts in a Word document, and then that's me getting going, because, you know, faffing around with WordPress, at least if I've got some content to add on to there, once I've figured out how to do it, then, you know, that's something. So I started, but it's almost like I'm self-sabotaging myself, because I'm not making time to do it. And I know what I'm talking. I know my shit, but I'm not.
Right. And that's what. Can we just go down that road just for a second?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The thing is that you know the self-sabotage. Now, I could go down the self-sabotage road with you if you like. We can sit here and talk about it for 20 minutes. But I have a very gut instinct that you live and breathe this shit 24 hours a day, and you don't need me to go down that rabbit hole with you because you know it like the back of your hand.
Yeah.
Actually, what I want to explore with you is the stuff that you do know, the stuff that you actually could be really resourceful to other people. I just want to know about that.
Okay.
So just tell me, explain to me what it is you know about breeding a dog and what's involved.
You want me to tell you what I know about it?
I want to know what you know. Yeah.
Oh, gosh, where to start? What do you mean? Like, what, you know, if you were coming to me and you were saying to me, look, I'm interested in buying a puppy, I would obviously.
So if I'm interested in buying a puppy, right?
Yeah.
And someone says to me, right, I've got a woman who you should really speak to.
Yeah.
And I say, well, why should I speak to her? There's a million dog breeders around.
Yeah,
Tell
absolutely.
me by her. What is your USP? Why should I come to you?
Well, this is the thing, and this is what's holding me back, because why would people listen to me more than the next person? Why me? You know, like what do I almost feel like I'm a bit of a fraud. Like, you know, who am I telling people this shit? Do you know what I mean? That, you know
what? We can pick that up. We can pick that up in a second. I know you're desperate to the why me? I'm a fraud, imposter syndrome. Just for a minute, please put it down just for a minute, with your permission. Can you do that?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just telling you why I don't know.
I get it. Yeah. But what it's doing is it's completely and utterly dominating your process to get anything started. Because that voice is so loud and you only buy into that voice. When actually, when you were in your flow before, there was a wealth of knowledge and experience there.
Yeah.
I want to know about that. She's much more interesting to me. Yeah.
And I absolutely, and I do have a wealth of knowledge. You know, buying a puppy is really difficult. It's a really tricky situation. First of all, you know, you need to find a breeder that fits in with, you know, what it is you want. And then, you know, a lot of people will believe that you can buy. In fact, I had a message from somebody the other day, actually, who her sister has got one of my puppies. Now she's 2 now, but this little dog, she lives in London. They've had a baby since. And this little dog is an angel. She actually came to stay here recently. And I breed specifically for temperament. Well, obviously I breed for health as well, but temperament is really important because Dachshunds can have really shitty temperaments. And so it's really important to me that I breed from bitches that have got good temperaments and that the pups are handled by my family and, you know, my pups leave here bomb-proof. So this...
I have one answer. Sorry to pause you. I have an answer.
Yeah.
One of the first question to why me? Why should people listen to me? You've just said it. I breed to temperament. I didn't even know that was a thing. How amazing. I grew up with Dachshunds, as you know. If I ever get a dog, it's going to be a minute to Dachshunds, FYI. And if I'm going to buy a dog and someone's telling me, go to this woman because she breeds from temperament, yes, please.
Exactly. Well, yes, exactly. And this is why I guess if you have a look at my website, I bang on about this a lot. This is why I guess it attracts people, because they kind of know that I know my stuff from my website. I know about the health issues. I know about, and I'm honest as well. Dachshunds have got a terrible health issue called IVDD, which is basically slipped discs in the spine, and it can't be prevented, and no breeder can tell you that it won't happen. I can't tell you that it won't happen to any of my girls after they've had their litters. There's no way of knowing, and I'm brutally honest with people, and I'll say to them, I can't promise you that it won't happen. You know, if you're buying a Dachshund, you need to know that this is a risk. There is no health test. It is what happens. You know, luckily I haven't had one that it's happened to yet, but that doesn't mean I won't. And so I'm very honest.
We now have 2 answers to why me.
Why is that?
You're brutally honest.
Yes, and I am, yeah. So this
and you're brutally honest, and you really know your stuff.
Yeah. And I do. And this girl had contacted me, and basically her sister has got a dog of mine, and she'd contacted me end of last year, and she'd said to me that she was interested in getting one. Her child was under 1 at the time. And I said, okay, my waiting list is long, but I might be able to move some things around because I have got a bitch that's pregnant. She went away and thought about it, and then actually came back a few days later and said, actually, no, we're not going to go ahead. It's not the right time. Fine, that's fine. So she contacted me a couple of days ago and just said, oh, I was just wondering if you had mated Lily again. Well, first of all, yeah, so I just wondered if you'd mated Lily again. And I said, and she said, because we've decided that we really would like one now. And I said, well, I have, but I've also told all the people on my waiting list, you know, that she is pregnant, and that, you know, the people, you know, waiting, well, the first 4 people waiting, that she is pregnant, and that puppies are going to be arriving and when they're going to be in their new homes and stuff. So, you know, I don't have any availability at the moment. I will be having 2 litters at the end of the year, beginning of next year. And she went away for a couple of days, and then she came back and she said, oh, actually, can you recommend any other breeders, because timing is the most important thing, because hubby's a pilot and he's got some time off in the summer, and we really want to have one by the time the summer's out. And I went back to her and I said, I can't recommend anybody, because I wouldn't recommend anyone that I'd never seen how they'd done things and been to their house and saw how they raised them. I said, but I just want to say to you that just be really, really careful, because if you end up with a Dachshund with bad temperament with a toddler, I've bought my fair share of Dachshunds that have had shitty temperaments, and I've had to rehome them, because that's what I would, as a breeder, breed from a dog that has got a bad temperament. So I just kind of said to her, you know, just be careful what you're doing, because I know you want a replica of Rocker, that's the little one's name, the one that I bred, but they're not all like that. And that's not me bigging myself up. That's just telling you, I know that there's a difference.
What were you doing in that moment with this woman? Tell me what you were.
I was kind of saying to her, just timing isn't right. So when people come to me and they said, I want a pup, but I want to get it in July, again, I'm trying to explain to them, that's not how this works. If you want to get a puppy in July, that's fine. I'm sure you'll find one, but it won't be from somebody reputable, because reputable breeders have waiting lists. And you need to, timing isn't your most important issue here.
So you're teaching people.
It can be a nightmare.
You're teaching her what the priority is in order to bring a Dachshund into your home, and you're forewarning her, and you're educating her from a very, very honest, educated, experienced place. Yeah.
Even though I feel awful after I do it, because then I think, oh my God, maybe that sounded really condescending. I didn't mean it to sound like that. But
listen, you know how many women have come in my salon over the years and come in with, and I'm sharing this because I just feel that this is probably quite helpful, have come in over the years with split ends this long and tell me they only want to trim, and I've refused to do it. I am brutal, because at the end of the day, they are going to waste their time and they're going to waste their money. And I don't want to do that. And it's my reputation at hand that when you walk around with those wisps on the end of your hair and you say, Nicole's cut my hair. No, because that's not what I do. I make your hair healthy and I make it look great.
Yeah.
And that sometimes takes brutal honesty. Do they thank you for it in the end? Hell yes. Have there been clients that I haven't seen? Hell yes. Am I stood in my integrity? Hell yes. Am I standing up for what I truly believe in? Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. No, you're right.
And that's what you're doing with that woman. And all the other people that you will breed for and on behalf of.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is, and people come back to me again and again to get a puppy. They just won't go anywhere. Even if I do know people and I kind of say, look, this person I know is good. They've got puppies. No, still want to wait for you. But you could be waiting 2 years. Yep, still want to wait for you. So that's fine.
I'm going to ask the question, why would I come to you? Why you?
Because I think there has to be obviously a mutual, I always say to pick up the phone and speak to somebody, and if, when somebody's looking for a puppy, and go on gut feeling. That's one of the things I always say. If something feels amiss, then don't do it. If something feels, because a lot of people, once they get to a house and they see puppies, find it very difficult to walk away. And I don't even let people come to my house until I've spoken to them on the phone and we've had this conversation, you know, and then like, you know, so I will always say, go with your gut feeling. But people would buy a puppy from me because A, I know my shit. B, I'm pretty much guaranteeing the temperament of the pup they're going to get, pretty much, unless something goes really tits up, you know, in that puppy's early life, you know, I'm pretty much, as in from when it leaves me, 8 to 16 weeks is a puppy's main learning curve. And if something goes catastrophically wrong in that time, like it was attacked by another dog, or then it can obviously implement a kind of fear, you know, but unless something like that happens.
Why are they coming to you?
So they're coming to me because A, I know my stuff. B, I'm guaranteeing pretty much temperament. And C, the reason C is because they have now got a person who is championing them and helping them for the rest of that dog's life. And I stay in touch with them forever. So any time that they've got a problem, I had one of them on this morning, just because they live in Tooting, one of their friends, Daxon's, has eaten something in Tooting Common, it's been sick, the vet said there's been about 6 or 7 of them, should I take him there, Di, should I not? And I said, well, keep him on a lead, it sounds like it's something poisonous, like, you know, trees or flowers or something.
So there's total support, you give total lifetime support.
Forever. On weight, on food, on anal glands, on spaying, on neutering, on everything.
Di, let me tell you something. When I get my dachshund, and I will, you're the only woman I'm coming to. And I am not saying that to blow smoke up your ass. I'm saying that because you are a woman who is full of integrity. And I respect that and admire that wholeheartedly.
Bless you, thank you. That's very kind. And you would be more than welcome to have one of my puppies.
So, what I want to ask you now is, what are you aware of now that you weren't before?
As in, what, now in this day, or now in this conversation, or just now in general?
In this conversation, like, how do you feel?
I'm aware that I'm an educator and that I'm knowledgeable, and that actually that what I'm saying is actually of interest, you know, not maybe just to somebody who's on my waiting list, but actually to somebody who's even thinking about potentially going down that road, that what I've got to say is informative and worth listening to.
And really important if you're going to bring a dog into your home.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
Really important.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And so, with regards to this blog website type thing, I kind of, and I realise as well from doing that, that's not necessarily going to bring me paid work. It's free information, free content that I'm giving people. However, what it will do, I believe, for people to buy into you, you have to prove that you know your shit. And what, you know, I could put something on my website now, right, saying that
Can I just say something on the back of that? You do have to know your shit, but you also, more importantly, have to believe that you know your shit.
Of course.
Because you do.
So I could put something on my website now, right, saying that, like, crate training, right? So I'm a crate training expert. I know that's a very made up thing, but, you know, that's what I do. I can have people's dogs crate trained, even from remotely. Doesn't necessarily even have to be one you bought from me, literally within days. Okay, sleeping overnight, all night long, dry in the crate. I got a new puppy last weekend, and within the first night she was sleeping in a crate. She's never been in a crate before in her life. So I could offer
the dog whisperer. You are the dog whisperer.
I could offer this as a service, right? And I could put it on my website as a service, as a paid service, 50 quid, you know, and we'll stay in touch until the dog's sleeping through the night, you know, whether video, WhatsApp, whatever, right? But for people to buy into that, or for people to go, do you know what, actually, I really want to do that. I really want to use that woman's services. I have to prove that I know what I'm talking about. I can't just advertise it as a service. I have to prove that I know what I'm talking about. So this kind of website.
What I'm hearing is you want to gain trust. from people?
Yeah, well, I think what I want to do essentially is further my business in terms of being a support for people, right? But obviously charging for that, in a way, a coach, but like a very niche market.
Yeah.
But for me to be able to take that step into that, I need people to know that I know what I'm talking about. Like, you know, people need to see that I need to read or need to see that I know what I'm talking about before they'll take the step to want to work with me. Because why wouldn't you? You know, you need to know that somebody knows what they're talking about before you want. So the kind of plan with the blog website was really put out a lot of free content that kind of gives people loads of information about buying a dog, because not being funny, it will help me as well, because I'm spending hours emailing people back the same thing over and over and over again. So if there's a resource that they can go to,
amazing.
Everything, it just makes sense. Yeah, I can link it from my website, whatever. So that's the first thing. But then from reading that, people are going to go, hopefully, people are going to think, Christ, she knows what she's talking about. I'd like to work with her. Do you know what I mean? And then kind of pick it up from there. Again, I'm one of these people that does believe in my heart and soul, for me, that for things to be true to myself, they happen organically. I can't push a service that I haven't done the groundwork for. I know I can do it, but I haven't done the groundwork to let people, so people believe that I can do it. Do you know what I mean? So it's an organic thing. I think it needs to happen. So the first thing that would need to happen with the blog or the website, where I write down my content, people read, you know, and then I move on from there, you know, like, you know, I think something will come up where I'll realise, right, okay, now I can start charging for this a service. Or do you get where I'm coming from with that? Like almost not being led by fate, but like putting it out there and kind of seeing.
What about charging for it now?
Right, now, so I did think about this, but I think that for you to charge for something, you need to prove.
Make it personal to you. Make it personal to you. For me to charge something, I need to prove.
Okay, for me to charge something, I need to prove that I know what I'm talking about, because there's a lot of people out there.
But you do know what you're talking about.
I know I do, but other people don't know that.
Who are you proving it to?
To anybody who comes along and reads this, they're going to go, okay, because I've been on a million doggy websites. It's the same stuff. It's generic shit. You get it in the books. It's not from somebody like me who's sitting writing something from their home, surrounded by their dogs and their kids, where you're going to get the true bare bones of, you know, of the situation. Is very, very generalized. It's very generalized. Yeah.
What's stopping you from charging now? Because can I just mirror something back at you?
Yeah.
You want to charge for this crate training service, right? Brilliant service, by the way. If I was investing in a dog, which I will be at some point,
yeah,
I want my dog crate trained ASAP, as little fuss as possible, so that I can have my sleep, right?
Yeah.
I will
you
pay
get one from me anyway, though, so you get that free.
Right, I get that free. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
But this is something that you know how to do.
Yeah.
Right? So you don't need to prove anything, because it's something that you do. I'm curious to know whether this need to prove it is actually a little ploy to stop you from stepping into just charging for it.
Well, you know what? It's difficult, because I get where you're coming from, and I do understand where you're coming from. Is it like a kind of like me sort of holding myself back? And I don't actually think it is. Because, well,
okay, good.
The reason I don't think it is because for somebody want to spend money with you, like I've seen you on Insta, right? On your stories, you know, your personality, you know, the things you post. I've read some of your blog posts, really, really good. So I kind of know a bit about you, right? Now, interestingly, I wouldn't have probably approached you about coaching, because I would have assumed that you were very, very busy, right? And so it probably wouldn't have been something that I would have done. However, which is what I said when I opted for this call. Like I said on my thing, this is something I would usually scroll past, but do you know what? I'm going to throw myself out there a bit, and you know.
And hold on, and look what happens, right? This is a very tiny example of what happens when you step into something that you want for yourself.
Yeah,
or you
absolutely.
Into something that you feel you deserve for yourself.
Absolutely. Now
we are on a call and we are now coaching together.
This is the thing, and I get that, but obviously when you started your coaching, I'm guessing that it was probably a bit like, I can see you and I can see your stories and I can see your posts, so I can go, okay, I like what this woman's got to say. She clearly knows what she's talking about. In my opinion, she knows what she's talking about. I would invest in that. I can't expect people to invest in me if I'm not present, whether it be on stories, whether it be on a blog, whether it be on videos,
Well, here's the thing. You can do it anyway. You can 100% get your stuff out there and start to build up trust with your audience or with whoever you're aiming this at.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean to say that you have to stop offering this service. Whether people take it or not is up to them.
Yeah.
But actually what you're doing by not putting it out there is denying someone, 3-4 weeks of sleep? Because you're saving that for them. You can do this now with a blog, without a blog. It's a service that you offer. It's something that you know, back to front, inside out, upside down. And let it be up to the person whether they choose to take the service up or not. But you're already saying they don't want it. Well, how do you know?
No, it's not necessarily they don't want it. It's more that, okay, it's a bit like this. This is another example, okay? You know when you've had your baby, when you have a baby for the first time, and everybody's got knowledge to give you. And this happens when you get a dog as well. You will get so much conflicting information. You would get information from me, your breeder, who would be telling you, listen to me because I know my breed and I know what, and I know the mum and I know the dad and but you're going to get information from, your parents, your husband's parents, from the other people down the road who've got a dog, from your friends, from everybody. Everybody is going to give you information, right? And it's the same when you have a baby, isn't it? Yeah. Now, for you,
with anything. Everyone's got an opinion about everything.
Of course. Now, for you, in that moment, first new baby, to want to take on a professional and give them money to help you with something, when you've got a lot of support around you, you've got a lot of people around you who have got an opinion and seem to be quite knowledgeable, had dogs for years, had dogs for 20 years, had dogs for 30 years. For you to actually want to pay somebody for a service that your next door neighbour has told you how to do it, why would you go, I'm not trying to sabotage myself, I'm just being realistic.
Yeah, you're questioning it, I get it.
Why would you go and pay somebody you don't know, who you've maybe seen online or you've maybe just read her website, when Barbara next door had her dog crate changed in a week and she can show you what to do? This is the issue.
You want to know why?
The expert.
But you're going to you can second guess yourself, I'm assuming, out of absolutely anything, guys.
Probably.
And you can talk yourself in and out of anything and everything. And I'm not going to sit here and problem solve with you. But what I want to know is, what do you want? Like, how do you see this moving forward?
So this is how I see this moving forward. So I see this moving forward as I have to get over myself in the fact that I need to have more confidence in myself, more and stop sabotaging myself. Get the website, get the blog, get whatever it is out there, and then I guess work on a social media kind of platform, whether it be very, very slow initially or whatever, to try and kind of speak to people for them to get to know me, etc., etc. And then eventually, I think it's a bit like Field of Dreams, build it and they will come. If I build it, people will come. Do you know what I mean?
Well, your business already shows you that. You've got a waiting list of 2 years.
Yeah.
That to me is a successful business.
Yes.
And the other thing you said at the beginning of this phone call is that success for you looks like educating people, inspiring people, and having your voice be heard.
Yeah.
That's what success looks like for you.
Yeah.
And all of these wonderful ideas that you have, they are wonderful and they are helpful and they are informative and they are necessary in the dog breeding world, but they're only wonderful if you put them into action.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. No, I get that. I know. I need to take that step out of my comfort zone really and do it.
And this is the beauty of having a coach in your life, because you get to be accountable to me. So we can start to set up some accountability as to what you want to do and how you want to bring all of this into your real world.
Yeah. Okay.
It's just a lovely conversation. But actually, you want to make changes for yourself.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. Because, do you know why I do? Because I know that I've got a lot to share. And I know.
Yes.
I know that I've got a lot to share, and I know that people will benefit from what I've got to say. I know they will, because I get it. Like, some weeks I get 20, 30 inquiries, you know, I'm answering these people back, you know, and they're taking my information and going, cheers, you know, when I'm pouring my heart out to them and spending my precious time on, you know, because I wouldn't be any other way, you know, but, you know, if I spent all that precious time actually just getting it in one central place and having that information out there for everybody to read, it might be a benefit.
It will be of benefit. And secondly, it sounds very purposeful.
Yes.
For you.
Yes.
In terms of having your voice be heard and inspiring people, helping people, educating people. You said at the beginning of the call that you didn't know what that purpose was. But this does feel as if it could be quite meaningful and purposeful for you. How do you see that?
Yeah, no, and this is the thing. The only thing that's ever stayed in my life as a constant, the only thing that I still get buzzed about doing, the only thing that I still, you know, as I say, I've had my fingers in many, many, many different pies, is breeding. I've just been scanning one of my bitches. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm buzzing. You know, she's due her puppies in 3 weeks. I'm buzzing. I love the birth. I love the pregnancy. I love the birth. I love the nurturing them. I love the whole thing. I love the you know, the information that I can give to people. I love the questions. I love you know, I get together everyone's puppy pack the day I do the handover. We set aside 2 hours per person and I go through everything with them, and I give them a big, really lovely folder with, everyone calls it the Bible, not the Bible, but the Bible. And I give them, and I'm just with them on hand for the next few weeks until they feel that they're settled. And then after that, just, you know, as and when they need me, really. Sometimes they've experienced, it can be a few days, sometimes it can be weeks and weeks and weeks, but, you know, they're always kind of, you know, there. But, and I just love the whole thing. And I suppose as well this year, because I'm only having one litter, you know, I start feeling a bit of a loose end, really, a bit like, well, what am I meant to be, you know, because the thing that I do isn't something that I can do. Like, you must get a buzz out of your job when you get a woman who has a breakthrough, right? And like, I can't do my job often, you know, it's not something that you do, like, you know.
Well, I think we've now discovered that you can do it quite often. You just do it in a different way.
Yes, well, that's the thing. This is the thing, and that's where I feel.
But there's something important though that I want to ask you to do. So this place of understanding who you are, what you bring, what you're about, where your strengths lie in terms of your work. What is it you want to say to your imposter syndrome self or the self-doubt person when they come up? Like, what is it you want to say to that?
That you can do this and you are worthy, because I just feel like
personal. I
can do this, and and I am worthy of doing this. I'm worthy of being listened to as well. You know, my voice I have got something to say that is beneficial, you know, to people. But God, I really, really struggle with the self-confidence thing. Really struggle with the self-confidence thing. It's crippling. Horrible.
You've just created a mantra for yourself, okay?
Yeah.
Which I want to use when this crippling self-doubt comes up. And of course, there's more work to do on that. But ultimately, what we've discovered today is your most resourceful, passionate, purposeful self.
Yeah.
And she needs to be made louder and stronger than the self-doubt version, because the self-doubt version does nothing but hold you back, keep you small, make you feel like shit, and you get nothing done, and then you just feel endlessly frustrated, resentful within yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
This person that I've been talking to today, this resourceful, intelligent, educated, experienced woman, truthful, integral woman, she's got a lot more to offer. And she's got a lot more goodness to bring to the lives of people that want to bring a puppy into their home and make their home a more joyful place. And you smooth that transition over. What a wonderful thing to be able to do.
I know. This is the thing. And, you know, it benefits so many people. Just the basics of knowing how it all works. So they understand, and, you know, the different types of breeders they are. You know, there's so many people buying dogs where they just, I mean, I did an interview with Country Life recently. It was quite funny though, because obviously I spoke the way that I'm speaking to you, and I had some health stuff to say, but that's not really what they wanted. But the woman who was doing the article, see, this is another thing. So the woman who was doing the article for Country Life.
Well, actually, I'm going to pause you. I just want us to really underline something really beautiful that came up that I think is going to really, really help you.
Okay.
When self-doubt comes up. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Because you created this mantra for yourself. And I just want to check, A, you've written it down, and B, you know how and when to use it.
No, I haven't written it down.
Well, I'm going to make you, please. What was the mantra?
I can't remember now. I said... What did I say? I said I am worthy. I know I said that I...
what is it you want to say? Like, tell me what you know about yourself now.
I am knowledgeable. I am worthy. My voice, you know, should be heard. You know, I'm just writing down.
Good. So when this self-doubt comes up, Di, this is your mantra point. This is your point that's going to start to drown out the self-doubt, because you've got to replace it with something else. Otherwise, it will just shout you down every time.
Yeah.
And so far, you've been allowing it because you haven't known how to silence it. So this little tool of I am worthy, I am educated, I am experienced, whatever it is you need to say, just get really present to the person that you are, and not present to the person that you are not.
Yeah.
That's how a lot of us women live. We live in all that we are not. I'm not worthy. I'm not good enough. What does anyone want to listen to me for? There's a million other people doing all the things that we are not.
Yeah.
It's time to start living in all that you are, and focus, like tunnel fucking vision, excuse my French, on what it is, who you are, and what you bring to the table, and what you are going to bring to everybody, and the experience that someone is going to get by working with you, and how you are going to make that transition of bringing a puppy into their home a joyful, beautiful, honest, integral one.
Yeah.
And I'm playing on all the words that you have given me. I'm not making, this is all come from you.
Yes. Okay, yes. And I need to remind myself this.
So that's the first part of your homework.
Yeah, I need to, that's the first part. Yeah, definitely. I think I think the second part is actually setting time aside to make sure that, and not letting other things get in the way. You know, setting time aside to do my work instead of going, oh, actually, maybe I should be ironing instead, or maybe I should be, you know, and putting it off, because that's what I tend to do.
And you know what? Here's the thing. We're women. You're a mother. You've got 4 kids. You've got puppies. You've got probably ironing coming out your bloody ears. Of course, there's always going to be a time to do the ironing.
Yeah.
But here's the thing that I want you to stay really present to. Yeah. And here's something that's always worked for me in the past. Like, can this ironing wait 2 hours? Is this going to bring me closer to my purpose? No. Do the kids have a school shirt to put on? Yes.
Yeah.
Is this bringing me closer to my purpose? Is this bringing me closer to being the voice that I want to be, the woman that I want to be?
Yeah.
Is this bringing the information? Is this bringing me closer to being able to inspire people and help people and educate people by doing the ironing?
Yeah.
Or is it more helpful and self-serving and closer to me being in the presence of my passion, just to give myself an hour and a half or an hour or half an hour to sit and write a quick blog, or to sit and do a story on Instagram, or whatever it is you want to do in order to get the information out to people?
Yeah, I see. Yeah, I've written it down. I have to remind myself of that all the time.
So let's create some time. Tell me about the time this week, like how much time can you realistically dedicate to it?
Well, I can dedicate quite a bit of time, really, because I could dedicate evenings to it. I've only got one evening where I'm not around, which is tonight. Other than that, I am around. So I could definitely dedicate at least a couple of hours a day over the next few days. You know, I could certainly put it into practice over the next couple of evenings, doing some work on it.
So 2 hours a day.
Yeah.
For the next however many days.
Yeah, so I could probably do 2 hours a day on definitely Wednesday, definitely Thursday, definitely Friday. Yeah. So my daughter's coming back from uni on Friday evening, but I know she'll be sitting working as well. So I could probably do at least 6 hours this week anyway.
6 hours this week, okay. And amazing, congratulations, that's quite a commitment. How will I know that you've done 6 hours this week? Will you let me know?
Yes, I will definitely let you know.
And my final request of you is that when you sit down to write or whatever it is you're going to do, make space for this. Sit down with the person that you are.
Okay.
Sit down with the educated, experienced woman who knows what she's talking about.
Okay.
And if you're in the presence of your self-doubt, start with your mantra, get rid of that woman, because she's not going to write an inspiring blog.
No. Okay. I will. So I'm writing all this down.
Good.
I will let you know how I get on.
Thank you.
I will keep you posted.
Wasn't she fabulous? And all Di needed was a little push in the right direction to understand all that she is rather than all that she isn't. And to just give herself a little bit of space to say, actually, I can do this. And this is what I'm really good at. And just a little push in the right direction. Now, Di and I are still coaching, and we're working on loads of stuff for her, but needless to say that conversation really shook things up for her. And she said that for her to have someone in her corner who makes her realise, actually, oh, maybe I can do this, was the most really powerful. It was really, really powerful for her. So if this is you and this is something that you are interested in, then do not hesitate to contact me. My email is here and I hope to hear from you.